Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to be doing a book talk for Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. So generally when I do these book talks, it's because I want to talk spoilers. And for Crown of Midnight, this was the book that won the poll for giving a series a second chance. Like a couple years ago, I read Throne of Glass. I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I had Crown of Midnight, so I read like the first 50 or so pages of Crown of Midnight, and I didn't feel like I got anything more from Crown of Midnight than I did from Throne of Glass, so I just decided to put down the series, and I decided I didn't want to read the series. Since it won the poll to give a series a second chance, I read Crown of Midnight, I think like last week or so. I enjoyed Crown of Midnight a lot more than I was expecting to. Like a lot more than I was expecting to. I didn't really expect very much out of this book just because I had previously DNF'd it. And honestly, it's like mostly the second half of this book. Like the first half of this book, I was kind of bored by for the majority of it. But the second half of this book made me really enjoy the book a lot more, and I actually kind of want to continue on with the series now. So I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. So for these book talks, I generally talk about 4 things: character, plot, world building, and writing style. So we're gonna start with character. And character, I think, is the weakest aspects of this book because I just really don't like the characters. I think the characters are actually pretty well written. Like they have personalities that you can really understand. They're just not particularly likable, and I don't understand their motivations all the time. The only character that I really ended up liking was Kale. Like for some reason, I just really like him as a character, but like Selena, I just find her super arrogant, but like she's also incredibly emotional and vulnerable at the same time, which is interesting. I didn't really expect that from her. And then there's Dorian. I actually started liking Dorian in this book, which in Throne of Glass, I just found him completely boring and I didn't like him at all. But his arc in this book is actually very interesting. The main reason the characters annoy the crap out of me is the relationships. I do not like the way the character relationships are written. Like when I was reading the first book, Throne of Glass, I hated the relationship between Selena and Dorian. Just absolutely hated it. I didn't feel it at all. I did feel a connection between Selena and Kale though. And then when I was reading Crown of Midnight is when Selena and Dorian break up and Selena and Kale start to form a relationship and all of that. And I didn't feel it at all between Kale and Selena. Like I didn't feel their relationship at all. And then that thing happens in the middle where they just kind of like break up. And I was just like, this is so stupid. Because the thing that happens, right, it's like he doesn't tell her that there's been a threat to Nehemiah's life, even though the king specifically tells him not to tell her that. I completely thought he was in the right because his employer tells him not to tell one of the other employees about something that happened, right? So like think of it in modern times. If this is a CIA agent, it doesn't matter who your wife is, you're not going to tell your wife about a threat to, you know, the president or the vice president or whatever like that. Like it just made sense to me. So I just really didn't understand why she was so angry about that and why she could try to kill him over that. Like I thought it was just way too big of an overreaction, and like that just made me not like her even more. That whole bit and all of the character relationships, I just didn't feel it that much because she like gets really emotional over Nehemiah's death, but when Nehemiah was alive, I didn't feel like she actually was that friendly with her. Like yeah, she went and hang out with her a couple times, but like I didn't feel any connection between those two characters even as friends. So like it didn't really make sense to me, and I just didn't connect with that aspect of the book. So we're gonna move on to plot, and I actually really like some aspects of the plot. Like the idea of the plot, the whole plot line with Archer and like that secret society rebellion thing with Aelin Galathynius. I think that's really interesting. I totally saw the reveal at the end coming. Like I saw that from the very beginning. Like the moment they mentioned Aelin's name, I was like, that's Selena. It's totally Selena. She's totally the secret princess. Like I knew that was gonna happen, but I enjoyed it and I enjoyed the way it was revealed. So I was happy with that. And I actually really enjoyed the plot a lot more than I was expecting to. Then we come to world building, and I think the world building has a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential there. There's just not as much details. So that's why I'm really excited for Heir of Fire, because I feel like Heir of Fire could be where the world building really takes off, because I've heard Heir of Fire is really good. So I'm really excited to see that in the third book. And then we have writing style, and the writing style for me is very hit or miss. Like, there are times, like when she's writing action and suspense, I think she actually does a really good job. But then again, the relationships and the character building and all of that, I think is done very poorly. So it's very hit or miss for me. We'll see how the rest of the series goes, because I've become a reader that likes good character development, and this one is more of a good plot. So I feel like this is a series that I would have really liked if I had read it in high school, but it's not necessarily a series I'll like as much now. But I think I will continue on with Heir of Fire, and hopefully I'll end up liking that one. That being said, I did enjoy Crown of Midnight, and I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know down in the comments if you read this book. I would love to discuss it with you guys. I post videos frequently in this channel, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.